much for being with us. A very good morning to you, Ram.
Same to you.
Happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan to all of you and, of course, our viewers.
Yes. We are going to start with Al Ahram, where we read its main banner. Egypt stresses its support for the unity and sovereignty of the Iraqi lands. Al-Sisi says to the Iraqi people, do not give the attempts of spreading struggles and strife a chance. President Al-Sisi receives Iraqi Foreign Minister Ibrahim Al-Ja'fari and head of Sunni Endowment Abdul Latif Al-Hamim. The same issue is tackled in Al-Akhbar, where we continue to read. In his meeting with the Iraqi Foreign Minister, Al-Sisi says we supported the unity of Iraq and we shall stand by the country till it gains security and faces challenges. Al-Ja'fari says Al-Azhar is an organization that's respected by the whole world and its role is vital in combating the extremist ideologies. We are still tackling the meeting of President Al-Sisi and his Iraqi guest, but from Al-Masri Al-Yawm this time, where we read Al-Sisi calls for not giving the chance to attempts to create differences and strife among the Iraqis. The president says to Ja'fari, factional differences should be set aside, and the Iraqi top diplomat conveys Iraqi Prime Minister Haidar al-Abadi's greetings to President Al-Sisi and reviews efforts in combating terrorism to liberate the Iraqi territories from Daesh terrorist group. Ma'am, regarding this visit, it's saying, as usual, that Egypt is going all the time to play the role of the big sis when it comes to the Middle East and the Arab nation. And when it comes to consultations in vital issues like combating terrorism, which is a real phenomenon right now, Egypt should be consulted. How do you read this, especially these days? I mean, the timing also of the visit.
Well, look, we have seen how the situation in Iraq for the past 10 years, for example, or
exactly,
even 2003.
March, exactly.
Yes. So from 2003 till today, definitely Iraq is no longer the strong and with a strong army, with a strong infrastructure, not that magnificent, but at least it was a state.
Yes.
But now it's what? It's a feeling state. Mm-hmm. Because there is no state, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. You have it divided, even by its constitution, into three sects. Mm-hmm. The Kurds in the north, the Sunnis in the middle, and in the south with Al-Basra for the Shiites. Mm-hmm. Definitely, the whole sectarian violence which has been going, has been definitely fueled by the Americans when they entered.
By external powers in general?
No.
America is one of them.
No. I'm talking in particular about the army, who has been dissolved by Paul Bremer, if you remember.
Yes, sure.
So it was this particular moment of time when you do away with the most expertise in armaments, in battles. How long have they been fighting the Iranians? They have been fighting the Iranians for 6-7 years, which was actually sanctioned by the Americans in order to have a weak army at the end, okay? So this weak army, which has resulted from this long battles, was never, a counterpart or actually an opponent to the American army, which invaded Iraq, as you said, in March 2003. Yeah. So the problem now is that people are seeing that there is always a differentiation. Because of being either a Sunni or a Kurd or a Shiite. And definitely the Kurds have been given, a big day when it is apparent now that there is no intention into really establishing Kurdistan as they were promised. And if you heard President Obama the other day when he was, regretting the invasion of Libya, I definitely agree with him. Invading Iraq or invading Libya hasn't benefited anybody.
And we should learn the lesson that those countries are not that much better after the falling of their regimes. But let's echo this, or let's have this, not a comparison, but a connection between what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said to Al-Jafari and what he has said about us in the lengthy interview which was
with Osama Kamal, yes.
Because the main piece of advice which was given by President al-Sisi was to unite. Whether this piece of advice was given to the Egyptians and now to the Iraqis means to unite against the devilish powers is the main or the key word.
Them, yes.
Yeah. And because of this, we are going to go to Al-Ahram, where we read from its front page, the political powers and parties praise the president's interview. The president sent positive messages to youth and investors, removed the masks from the faces of those who claim patriotism, and the residents of Sinai say a serious and real beginning for comprehensive development after 30 years of negligence. Ma'am, this was a part of the comments on the lengthy interview conducted by Osama Kamal with President al-Sisi. If you want to give any hints or any critical points which were tackled.
Well, look, the whole interview, as a matter of fact, if it showed anything, it showed, this is a man who knows the reality of what is going on, okay? He tried to tackle all the problems that have been really bothering us as citizens.
Yeah.
He tried to answer all those worries that are really going inside of us. And definitely, this message of uniting, this message of saying, I know what you're suffering from, I want to do something about it, and putting on the table all what is available to him as a leader of this nation, and all what he cannot really do anything about it.
Last but not least, by the end of this interview, when Osama Kamal asked al-Sisi about a message to be delivered to the Egyptians, or a promise, he said, work and work and work, sincere and serious work.
Look,
what about this call?
Not just this call. Look, the whole interview was full of messages, whether it be to us as people, our citizens, and to the outside world, even to America in particular, the United States in particular. He wants to say, this is a new era. We are no longer following, blindly what you're saying.
Yeah.
We have a say on what we take part in or what we don't take part in.
I'm always saying this, ma'am.
It's not obligatory.
Our foreign
commitment,
or our diplomacy, our foreign relations are now based on very different rules and bases.
Not just this.
It's a
we are looking for our interest as well.
Yes.
Because
and
interest
it's our right.
is the motivation for any political power in Nermeen.
Sure.
So he is trying to say one thing. This is a new era. It's going to be, it's not an easy era, okay?
It's
not full of flowers and things will turn out, in a flash. He is not a magician. And what we suffer from are long-term projects as well, like health, which he spoke about, like education, but certainly housing, or actually providing for the basic needs of the Egyptians. This is what he's working on. This is what we call basic needs in addition to infrastructure, because he has been working on roads and railways.
So many fields in the same time.
Exactly.
Taking you to Al-Ahram, page 6, where we read some regional news. Araqat says the Paris summit is a glimpse of hope for the Palestinians. The international community renews its support for the two-state solution in the Middle East. And Nabil Al-Arabi, the head of the Arab League, says before the summit, settling the struggle needs ending the Israeli occupation. The Arab countries refuse manipulating with priorities in the peace initiative. Ma'am, I don't know how this Paris summit is going to work without the participation of the Palestinians, neither the Israelis. This is something which I really cannot understand, if it's going to work.
Look, you are talking about Israel when it has a very strong right party that is really harsh in its views, in its stance. It doesn't want to have. If you come to the truth,
yes.
and really going back to the historical developments that have been going on with Netanyahu, no, he doesn't want it. And besides, the whole Arab world has been in a turmoil since 2011. And the crux of actually the whole conflict, which are the Palestinians and the Israeli conflict that has been going on since 1948, has been totally and utterly forgotten.
Ma'am, it's a yes or no question. The French initiative said that they hope that they are going to be negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians by the end of the year. Is it going to work?
Let me tell you one thing before I answer you. Hamas also is a big factor in really making the idea that this whole issue down the drain. I hope it will work. Mind you, it's now the French and the Egyptians are supporting this initiative. But in my opinion, unless really the Palestinians and especially Hamas comes, to an agreement somehow between Hamas and Fatah, you will never have a united front against the Israelis.
The coming to piece of news, it's the regional news, and it's concerned with what's going on in Syria and in neighboring Iraq. Syrian army on the gates of Daesh stronghold in Raqqa. Syrian troops push into the Daesh group's bastion province Raqqa, threatening to catch the militants in movement as US-backed Kurdish-led fighters advance from the north. Al-Ahram also is saying about Iraq that the Iraqi forces liberate Saqlawiyya from the group of Daesh. Daesh launches an offensive on the Agil oil field, the death of 48 of its elements in Fallujah. What's going on in Iraq and in Syria these days is the advance of the army of both countries into different towns to recapture them from Daesh terrorist group. But I really found that what's going on from the U.S. airstrikes, from the external intervention, is doing nothing to help the local, I should say, or the national armies or fighters there.
You've seen when Putin, when the Russians really intervened in Syria, they proved that what has been going on in Iraq to fight Daesh with 60 countries did not really accomplish anything. While Putin alone was able really to put Daesh down in Syria almost. What is left of Syria, true, it is totally destroyed. And the issue is really heartbreaking, whether it be in Syria or in Iraq. Nevertheless, of course, the whole issue that has been going on has been really devastating for the whole thing. But the United States, I don't know what it is doing really there. It's just, taking money from here and there, and really, of course, it's benefiting from Daesh to buy the oil through Turkey, which has been recently exposed by the European community. And let's hope that people like Erdogan and people like Qatar those who are ruling Qatar, really, they are exposed. That everybody sees that the one who is supportive, supplying arms, giving money, whatever money it needs, they are those who are creating safe havens for such terrorist groups.
We are going to end with some sports news and some sad news, to be accurate, when it comes to
yes.
sports. It was yesterday when death defeated the greatest, Muhammad Ali. The death of Muhammad Ali, the legend of boxing. Death of the legend Muhammad Ali, who visited Egypt and met with President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Muhammad Ali crafted the plan for his final tribute years ago, long before he died. On Friday, his family will honor him just like he planned, with a global celebration in his hometown.
Well,
a big loss.
Yes, definitely, but he has been suffering of Parkinson.
Parkinson, long ago, yes.
A very long time ago. And his story, if it shows anything, it shows determination, it shows a will, even to stand against a disease to which he can hardly do anything.
Yeah. And a bundle of good manners, of
not
values.
just this, real commitment. When he converted to Islam back in 1964, and he's a black, and at that time that was the height of fighting segregation with Martin Luther.
And he refused to go to Vietnam. He was banned as a boxer
he
for
is
such
somehow
a long time.
a politician in his attitude.
He was a human being in the real sense of the word.
He was sensitive.
Yep, amen to that. May God bless his soul.
Yes,
May he rest in
hopefully,
peace.
yes.
Let's end with some good news for the Egyptians with what happened with Tanzania yesterday. Egypt won 2-0. It was the qualifier of the ASEAN, or the African Cup of Nations,
Yes.
and it was 2-0 for Egypt, and due to Mohamed Salah.
Yes, and you've been absent for the past 3 years.
Past 3 editions, to be accurate, not just 3
Exactly.
years. We hope that tomorrow is going to be another day, and we are going to continue in the right track to return back to our glory as being on top of African football. And by this we come to the end of this quick press review. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is going to witness the start of the holy month of Ramadan, inshallah, 1437. Yes, ma'am. Happy Ramadan to you. See you next week, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We are going to be together for another press review,
Yes.
Dr. Mervat.
Yes.
Thanks for your input. Have a very good day.
You too.
Right after the we'll be back with more in our breakfast show, so stay tuned only on Nile TV International.
تحمل معك البشرى ليل نهار